Hey kids! Today's story is from Greenland and is called The Deserted Woman and Her Foster Daughter. This story is one of the many indigenous folktales from Greenlandic Inuit people. Originally, Kalaallit myths were passed down by word of mouth as they had no written language. Let's start the story. In a winter village on the frozen tips of Kalaallit Nunaat, a woman watched her foster daughter glide up the path to the great seal hunter's house. The woman smiled to herself, thinking how clever and lucky she was to adopt her wonderful girl. A large shadow crossed the pathway. Her grin faded as her eyes turned to the refrigerator-shaped hunter striding up from the dock. The man was the bone-headed owner of the apuche, the house in which they lived. To live in his large, warm place and eat his food, the woman and girl had to cook and clean. He forced his way through the doorway, carelessly tracking icy mud into the home on his enormous boots. His face was pressed into a permanent scowl. "The fleet is ready, and I will not wait for anybody, especially not those wearing skirts." The blood drained from the woman's face until she was as pale as winter snow. "You told me we were all leaving for the new hunting fields next week." "Did I? Silly me," said the man carelessly as he grabbed the last of his tools from the wall. "The boats are leaving now, on my orders." The daughter looked across the room in horror. As the man blustered out the door, the woman exploded into motion. "Pack only the things you need, quickly!" They bustled down the beach with their most essential possessions and saw the last boat about to leave, with the hunter perched on its edge. Awkwardly, the woman passed their meager possessions into the boat as the rower's beat began loud and clear. Boom, boom! She lifted the girl towards the boat. The hunter aggressively pushed her back, shoving both mother and daughter into the shallow, frozen waters. As the woman surfaced, she heard the hunter laughing. "You only eat my food. We're leaving you here. Let's see how you fare by yourselves." Their tribespeople in the boat turned their gazes downward in fear and shame. Not only did they like the woman and her daughter, they also knew what an exile meant for their chances to survive. Too afraid to be left behind, they began to work the oars, pushing them out to sea. Shivering, the woman and child sat on the beach in each other's arms, crying in despair. Everyone they knew and everything they owned was gone in those boats. The daughter wept. "Will we starve?" The woman stroked her daughter's hair and bundled her for warmth. "My sweet girl, there is nothing as powerful as a mother protecting her child." They gathered everything they could use from their abandoned village. There was almost no food left. Though the woman and girl were not hunters, they knew well that their chances to survive were slimmer out of season. "Sweetie, you are young and strong. Go outside and dig a hole by our window ledge." Confused, the girl dug a hole as instructed. "Fetch water to fill the pit." Completely perplexed, the girl asked, "Remind me, why are we making the world's smallest dam outside of our house?" Her mother chuckled. "My mother taught me a song that could help. I am out of practice, but I will try to sing in tune." The daughter was stunned. "What? You're going to sing a lullaby to a pond for which I wasted my last ounce of energy making?" Her mother said with a smile, "Just pour the water and then rest some." The girl filled the hole and then sat next to her foster mother. Her mom held her. Listen carefully, in case you need this charm when I am not near. She sang to the water, to the abandoned village, to her child. Her warm voice seemed to add chill to the vibrating air. The girl heard splashing from the pond and raced outside. A frogfish was swimming around in the shallow pool and jumped right into her lap. They cooked the delicious fish and went to sleep with full bellies and a hug. Each day, the mother and daughter repeated their evening song for food. With their confidence in their ability to survive, their pond grew. One day, they captured a lumpfish, the next, a duck, then a seal, a dolphin, a white whale, and finally, a narwhal. They began to pile provisions outside the house as the cold weather would keep it well. With their skilled craftswomanship, they made tools and clothes to keep themselves warm and safe. Giggling together outside their home while tightly pulling thin skin over the girl's new small drum, the child exclaimed, "Is that a kayak on the horizon?" A man from their village couldn't live with the idea of leaving them behind. He had taken a kayak to search for them. He hoped they survived and brought some food along to save them if they were on the brink of starvation. As he pulled onto the shore, he noticed all the skin and fish drying in the sun. He couldn't believe his eyes. The mother and daughter cautiously made their way towards the man, though he barely noticed. "I thought I would come and rescue you, but it seems you can easily rescue me instead." The woman laughed and offered him his choice of dinner and a place to stay for the night. Near the fireplace, he told them that the fishing had not gone well, and that the terrible hunter lost his mind, swam out to sea, and never returned. The next day, the man left to get more kayaks to bring to the women and their much-needed supplies. Their tribe needed them, and they wanted their tribe. The end.